Teaching in China have lots of postings. Of course, you have to be really careful though, because some of those postings are fake. Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about how I got a teaching job in China. I've had some questions from you guys about the process, how I got the job, what steps I took to get the job. So let's get into it. So when we moved to China, I knew that I wanted to be an English teacher there, but I didn't know what type of English teacher I wanted to be. So that was the first thing I researched. I would highly recommend to do some research and think about the positions that you'd be comfortable with for teaching. So for example, if you want to be a kindergarten teacher, you have to have really high energy and love kids. And then of course you have primary school, high school, and university. So first you can think about which level you want to teach, what level you feel most comfortable teaching, and kind of go from there. After figuring out what level you would like to teach, you need to think about if you want to teach in a public school, a private school, or an international school, or a university. So private and international schools tend to be a little bit more strict with their curriculum. They usually want you to teach something specific, and sometimes they want you to teach their curriculum that they have. Also, their teaching requirements may be a little bit higher. They might want you to have more experience. For public schools, they can be a little bit more laid back. So if you want to teach and kind of create your own curriculum and have the freedom to just be able to put your own spin on things, I feel like public schools are usually a little bit better to go with because they do usually offer you a bit of that freedom. For international schools, the parents are usually paying a lot of money for their kids to go there, so they are expecting really high quality English classes, and typically they're for kids who want to go abroad to school or go to high-level universities and all of that. So they do typically expect a lot more from their teachers at those schools. I think regardless of what type of school you go to, you should still always be professional and want to be a great teacher. But like I said, public schools kind of give you a little bit more freedom to be creative and kind of put your own spin on things. So if you're looking for that, I would highly recommend going towards a public school rather than a private or international school. Once you know what you're looking for, your next step would be to look for some job positions. So for me, I looked a lot on websites. There's tons of websites to look for ESL jobs in China. So one that I often went onto is Dave's ESL Cafe. They have tons of job postings there for all different parts of China. Also, there's eChina Cities, Teachaway. Also, LinkedIn has job postings. Lots of Facebook groups that have to do with going to China or teaching in China have lots of postings. Of course, you have to be really careful though, because some of those postings are fake. If it seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. So you really have to do your research and make sure that the school is legitimate, that the recruiter is real, and like I said, also what they're offering you doesn't seem like it's too good to be true. So yeah, once you do find some job postings, I would highly recommend to look into the schools, maybe find their contact information and send them an email to make sure that that job is actually for that school and it's a real posting. Typically you can also find people who work for those schools like on social media. There's lots of people on Instagram and Facebook and all of that. So I researched a lot of what I wanted to teach, what type of school I wanted to teach at. I met someone on Instagram and they taught at a school that I was interested in. The school has a really great reputation, so yeah, that was the job that I decided to go for. So in order to get a teaching job in China, at least on the correct visa and to have everything done legally, you typically need to have at least 2 years minimum teaching experience in an actual school. or you have to have a 120-hour TOEFL certificate. Because most of my English teaching was done online, they didn't count that as like the correct qualifications. So I actually did the 120-hour TOEFL certificate. I'll put the name here of the one that I did. I really liked it. It was super thorough, and I felt really comfortable teaching after I did that. So even if your school isn't requiring you to do that, but you just want to brush up on your teaching skills and what you'll most likely be teaching in China, I think it's great to do one of those classes. So after I finished my 120-hour TOEFL course, I was offered to do a demo at the school, and I was super nervous for the demo. The advice that I can give is to just be really prepared. I had a PowerPoint. I was really prepared. I was prepared to answer any questions about myself and my teaching experience and what I would like to teach and skills I have that they're interested in. So after I did the demo for the school, they offered me an interview where we talked about what their requirements were for me, what kind of classes I would be teaching, and all of that. After the interview was all finished, a few weeks later, they sent me a contract. I do recommend to read your contract super carefully. Make sure you understand everything. Make sure that there's a Chinese one and an English one, and make sure that they say the same thing. My school was really great. They offered me the contract in both languages. Everything was super clear. Everything on there was exactly what we talked about in the interview. So I really appreciated that, because you definitely have to be careful with that type of stuff. Make sure that it always mentions your salary, your vacation time, your health care, any bonuses or perks that they talked about, because if it's not on the contract, then it most likely will not be fulfilled. So make sure everything is there that you were promised. Yeah, so that was kind of my process for getting my teaching job. I feel the job that I got was really good. The school was excellent. My bosses were really kind and accommodating. I went through a lot of personal stuff during that school year, like losing family members and just developing a lot of anxiety because of that. And we were going through a lot with Jung's job, the company that he worked for, not paying their employees and stuff like that. So yeah, my job was really stable, and I really appreciated that. So I think your job experience can really make or break your experience in China. So definitely take the time to look for a good school, make sure it has a good reputation, and that the teachers that work there are happy. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions about teaching English in China or how to get a job in China, definitely let me know below. I would love to answer them. And I hope you guys all get some great English teaching jobs and have an excellent time in China.